You are now listening to the HighlyEvolvedPodcast. I'm your host, Stefan. You'll find me on Twitter and gab.ai. Before we start, I just want to say this is a Real American Patriot channel for Real American Patriot. If you're not a Real American Patriot, please exit the channel. And on that note, transmission will commence momentarily. How you guys doing? This is the HighlyEvolvedPodcast. My name's Stefan, as you know. And this episode, I want to bring this article up to you guys from Breitbart News, alright? It's headline. You know, around the world, I just don't discuss just only American politics, but I discuss world politics as well, right? Not only world politics, but dispute between cultures and communities, right? And I just want to shine a better light on how the world works, right? How the world, how are they thinking, how uncommon, uncivilized they think, their thought process. And this story just stands out a lot. I just want to bring it to your attention. It's a headline. Let me put the thing on for you guys, all right? Give me one moment. One moment. All right. There you go. I can't pronounce this word. Uighurs Condemn China forcing Muslim to eat pork during Ramadan. If you don't know what Ramadan is, I'm not sure what Ramadan is because I'm not Muslim. It's something got to do with their faith, their religion, and they had to fast within 40 days, I think. And it's not a regular fast. They have to fast from 4 o'clock in the morning to midnight, and at midnight then they could eat. It's like a dry fast, but they could eat within a day, right? But that's what Ramadan. But you guys can figure out what Ramadan is. But I just want to read this article to you guys. All right, it said Chinese Communist Party, the CCP official, conceded this week that Beijing had imposed draconian restriction on Ramadan practices in Muslim majority Xinjiang. I can't pronounce it right. Xinjiang, denying reports of blanket ban on activity during the holy month. Dolcum Isa, the exile head of Germany based on World Uighur Congress, told Voice of America, VOA, that the CCP is intensifying effort to stifle Ramadan this year, urging Muslims to eat pork. What the heck is against their religion? Why would you... See, that's what happened when you live in a authoritarian regime, right? A totalitarian. There's 1984 government, all right? You can't even practice your own religion. They got to tell you how you practice your own religion. How you going to tell people how to practice their own religion? All right, pork violation of Muslim rule, imposing fast restriction, banning headscarf, prohibiting prayer, and other hurdle to the month, right? So look, if of all nations that Islam are having war with, right, you would think they would have war more against the Chinese communism because they're more restrictive. Right, Western civilization are more open to your ideas and allow you to do whatever you want. You're more free in the Western society. Why aren't they going after the Chinese community, the communist community? Because communism is more restrictive. Within the communist community, all right, you're not allowed to practice your religion. Okay, example, the Chinese. Look what they're doing, and how come there's these radicals, how come they're not infiltrating China? How come you never hear any news about radicals infiltrating China, creating all these terrorist attacks, huh? You have to question that. Yeah, why? Why is that? Why is that? Maybe it's in cahoots. Maybe they're in cahoots. Maybe they try to destroy the West and not destroy the East. All right? I might be speaking on my butt here, but I'm just asking questions here. I'm not saying anything's factual, but you have to ask questions. Ask more questions. Why isn't radical Islamic terrorists attacking China more often as they do attacking the United States or attacking Western civilization? Because when you look at the fact that communist ideology are more restricted to religious freedom, Western ideology are more free to religious freedom. All right, they're unrestricted. You can practice whatever you want, right? And look at it, they're making Muslim eating pork is a totally violation of their religion. How come they're not outraged about that? At the Chinese. Right, Chinese is one of the major consumer of pork, and if you know anything about religious, right, anything about Christianity, Judaism, and Islam, they're forbidden to eat pork, crustaceans, All right? Mollusk, all that stuff, because it's a dirty creature. I don't eat pork personally, right? I stopped eating pork. I don't eat pork anymore. I don't eat pork. I don't eat shellfish. I don't eat lobsters. I don't eat mussels. I don't eat none of that stuff because they're bottom feeders and they absorb toxin. When you eat, these animals absorb toxin. All right, think about it. If they eat toxin and you're eating it, what do you think it will do to your body? You would harbor those toxins in your body, and you develop all these complications later on in life. All right, but let's continue. All right. His revelation came on Thursday. Wait, am I reading the right one? Okay. His revelation came on Thursday, the same day that Radio Free Asia, RFA, citing a new report by the U.S.-based Uighur, I can't pronounce the word, Uighur Human Rights Project, reported that the Beijing is implementing policy of linguistic imperialism to marginalize a group of language with a purpose of eradicating their ethnic identity, right? See, look, they're trying to get rid of the Muslim community. I mean, God forbid, I don't agree with Muslim thing they say, but they have the right to practice what they want to believe. And the Chinese are doing this stuff. Why aren't they outraged about the Chinese? I wonder. I don't understand about this stuff. Why don't the Islamic community, the Muslim community, are outraged about Chinese and what they're doing to them? Why is that? You got to ask questions. China have long opposed its Uyghur or Uyghur majority with the intent of erasing their religion and ethnic identity by coercing them into pledging loyalty to the Communist Party. See? VOA learned that Isa, the Uyghur who learned from Isa, that Uyghur who are working in a public sector student are asking to appear daily in the canteen during the lunch, or they will be accused of secretly fasting and hitting extremist tendency. He revealed that Beijing mandate that some Uyghur public workers ignore Ramadan, going as far as ordering the predominantly Muslim ethics group to consume pork during the holy month, a practice forbidden by Islam. See, the Chinese, I'm talking about the Chinese government, I'm not talking about the Chinese as a whole, but we could talk about the Chinese as a whole, right? Their morals and ethics is totally different, right? They don't have, I don't want to say it. I don't know, man. I don't want to say uncivilized. I want to use a more PC word. Unforgiving, all right, to other people's religion, all right, and within their community is also immoral as well. The thing that they do is so immoral, right? The Chinese country, they don't. I don't know, man. I could go on a rant, but I don't want to go on a rant about them. But I could go on a rant about the Chinese government and see how radical they are. See, this is why I don't understand. These Muslim community are mad at Western culture, but they're not mad at the culture that's oppressing them, which is the Chinese culture. You don't hear Ilhan Omar attacking the Chinese. You don't hear Rashida Tlaib attacking the Chinese. You don't hear AOC attacking the Chinese government. Right? You don't hear Bernie Sanders attacking the Chinese government. You don't hear the Democratic Party attacking the government. Because you know why? Because the Democratic Party are in cahoots with China. This has been proven. All right? This has been proven that Dianne Feinstein have a Chinese spy as her driver for the past 20 years and did not know anything about it. Joe Biden's son did a deal with the Chinese government. $1 billion deal. Right? Google is doing a deal with China. Right? They don't understand that. The Democratic Party are embedded with the Chinese. How can you, if you're a Muslim, how can you support the Democratic government as well? I don't understand that. All right, look what the Chinese doing to this Muslim community, and they're not outraged about this. This news needs to be spread to the Muslim community. In some cases, Uyghur community are forced to take home pork in order to share with their family, Issa told VOA. The restriction of the Ramadan have been in place every year since 2016, but they are especially hard this year. Xinjiang, China, the largest province, is home of the highest concentration in the country of Muslim majorities, mainly Uyghur, but also Kazan and Kurzi. I can't pronounce that word. Kyrgyz, among others. In their attack of Uyghur culture and identity, Chinese official has portrayed the Uyghur language as incapable of modernity, right? And are removing its relevance to education system and public life. RFA pointed out, citing the UHRFP report. In other words, the Chinese Communist Party is moving to ban Uyghur language altogether. See? Of all the country that's very oppressive is the Chinese government. They're so repressive. How come nobody aren't outraged about that? I don't understand that. And of all the countries that's politically correct, the Chinese is the most politically incorrect country at all. Look, they just bash these people. All right? They portrayed them, Uyghur, as a language incapable of a modernity. How are you not offended by that? How? All right? Following a pattern of broader development process, and has reported that the adaptation majority Han Chinese civilizations has central in modernization. Chinese have moved to diminish the status of Uyghur language in society. How are they not outraged by that? Basically, they try to erase a culture. That's what when you remove a language, you remove their culture. A culture is defined as their language, the way they speak. That's what defines their culture. The CCP making every effort to erase our culture, right? Adulwala Azab, a Uighur scholar and linguist, mentioned the UHRP reporting declared, I say acknowledge that the language is a more essential aspect of individual ethics identities. See, I just want to say, so I have no problem against Islam, against Muslim communities. I have no problem against that. You're free to do so when you're in America. All right, the only problem I have is the radical one. All right, the one that want to go kill people. There are a lot of Muslim and Islamic people out there who are very peaceful, but yet again, there are the radical one. All right, you cannot dismiss the radical one. All right, you got to understand there's two sides of every culture. Right, there's a bad side and there's a good side. All right, I love the people who want to live in peace, but the one that's being radicalized and the one that's doing all these harms is the one that made you guys look bad. And the people who's doing peaceful things, you need to tell the people who's radicalized to stop what they're doing, because it make your guy look bad as well, right? And I digress about that, but I also want to go to the Chinese. How come they're not outraged about the Chinese? How come this radical Muslim aren't going to Chinese community? And I'm not advocating a terrorist attack, all right? I'm gonna ask a question. How come Chinese are allowed to get away with these kind of things, and Western culture aren't allowed? Okay, I don't understand. All right, where am I? The Uighur language is the most ancient Turkic language and has been used to make significant contribution to human civilization. If the Uighur language is erased, an inalienable part of human civilization would be lost. Therefore, it's not only a duty of Uighur to save and preserve the Uighur language, but also the duty for international communities. Since 2007, Beijing has intensified Muslim crackdown, destroying their worship site, forcing them into concentration camp. That the Chinese government claim more vacations. Centered aim at combating religious extremists, ethics, separatism, and violent terrorism. Zhang Lijiang, a deputy chief of Chinese embassy in Pakistan, denied the Chinese is any way preventing all Muslims from observing Ramadan. Yeah, you're denying preventing from observing Ramadan, but yet again you're forcing them to eat pork, which is totally against their religion. That's the main part of this article. Nothing that Beijing has imposed some kind of restrictions. Yes, they did. China is a bad country, man. Muslims are free to fast in Zhangxing, he wrote on Twitter in 2016. Restrictions are the Communist Party. Restrictions are with the Communist Party members who are atheists. See? Communists are atheists. I don't know why these Muslims in America support communism and socialism, right? Like Rashida Tlaib, right? She's a Muslim. And who else? Ilhan Omar, she's a Muslim. How can you practice? How can you support a group like socialism when you know they don't believe in religion at all? Bernie Sanders is not religious. AOC is not religious. Religion give people morals. All right, that's what people don't understand. That's what these atheists don't understand. Sure, there are holes in some kind of areas, but the purpose of religion is to guide men without rules. Without rules and boundary. There's no civilized society, all right? There must be, the reason why we have religion is to give rules, boundaries, and morality, all right? That's what people don't understand. Without that, it's going to be hell in a handbasket. Okay. Where I'm at? I'm just giving a VOA note. Chinese officials do not disclose how many people fall under the communist member category, but the government would include as many as 2 million Uighurs who are believed to be undergoing compulsory education in prison camp in Xinjiang. I can't pronounce that word. Despite the Chinese diplomats asserting that Beijing is not completely blocking Muslim religion from practicing Ramadan, human rights activists and Uyghur advocacy group have sounded the alarm about CCP expansion, repressive and tactics against thousands of Uyghurs during the holy month. U.S. officials believe China is set up for 3 million of Muslim minorities, mainly Uyghur, is extrajudicial concentration camps, also dubbed the re-education camp or mind transformation camp center. That's what China is. If we can keep up the thing we're going right now, 1984 is basically Chinese, right? The Chinese country is basically 1984. Thought control, mind control, that's what it is. If you don't want that to happen, that's why I don't advocate communism, socialism. We don't need that kind of BS over here. We don't need that kind of Chinese mentality, all right? We don't need it. That's why I want to advocate to cut all ties with China, get them out of World Trade Organization, don't accept none of their foreign exchange students and foreign workers. Just cut them off. All right, these people, they need to learn the hard way. All right, I'm sorry, I'm being blunt. All right, Chinese. Where am I? Okay. Despite Chinese diplomatic serving the company. Okay, I read that. U.S. officials believe China has set up a 3 million of its Muslim minority, mainly Uyghur. Okay, I read that part already. At the facility, a Muslim detainee and some Uyghur Christian convert are subject to systematic torture, disappearance, execution, arbitrary detention in an effort to coerce them to denounce their religion in favor of the Communist Party. That's the thing with the Chinese. They're godless people. They're godless people, all right? The Communist Party, they're godless. They don't believe in religion at all. These people are not to be trusted. These people come from the depth of hell. Man, the Chinese government are evil entity. They're the evil empire. VOA report the Chinese government April 2017 regulation to prevent extreme due international outcry, with critics saying that violation basic human rights and religious freedom. According to those state-run newspaper, Chinese daily regulation forbid people forbid in the region from wearing full face covering and long beard. They also prohibit them from choosing names in an abnormal way. See, it's so restrictive. The Chinese government is so restrictive. How can you defend China? I don't understand. How can these Democrats in the United States try to defend China, do a deal with China? Joe Biden's son did $1 billion deal with China. All right. Most Muslim governments are quickly often repudiate alleged mistreatment of fellow Muslim in the West and Israel, namely in Iran, Sudan, and Pakistan, Nigeria, have kept mostly silent. Exactly. They want to accuse the Western, like America and all this stuff, of Islamophobia, but yet again, these other countries are doing the opposite of what we're doing. All right? They're doing worse than the American people. And they're not focused on that, but they focus on America. That doesn't make any sense. All these Democrats are saying we're Islamophobic. What about the Chinese? What about Saudi Arabia? What's up Pakistan? What Nigeria? That doesn't make any sense. Suddenly, America is the bad guy? And we're not focused on China. China is more repressive to the Muslim community and any other culture out there, any other government, and you're not focused on that? I don't understand that. Seemingly coerced about angrily Beijing. Given the Uighurs share culture and linguistic similarities with other Turkish ethnics, Turkey felt compelled to speak out against the persecution Islamic adherent in China. Right? To a much lesser extent, some politicians, Malaysia and Indonesia, rather than their government as a whole, has also condemned the practices. The 57 members organization Islamic Cooperation and Pakistan, China treatment of fellow Muslims during the blow is very suffering. To the suffering of Uighurs. See, that's what I'm saying. They're not reporting this on the news, and the Muslim people are very repressed about this kind of information because they like to listen to fake news. All right, but let me put my ugly mug back on the screen. All right. China is doing much worse to the Muslim community, right? Granted, I have my own opinion about the Muslim community, but again, they have the freedom to practice what they want to believe. That's what's so good about America. Freedom of religion, all right? You should not bash a country that allows you to practice your religion. If anything, you should bash China from you preventing you to practice your religion. If anything, they try to make you violate your own religion. All right? How are you more mad at America and you're not mad at China right now? I don't understand it. Muslim people. I don't understand. How can you not be appreciative to a country that bring you in, right, than a country that suppress and violate your religion? China is suppressing your religion. They violate your religion, all right? And you're not mad at that? But yet again, you weren't mad at America, right? I just said once, I said again, I have nothing against the Muslim community, the Islamic community. The one I have problem with is the radical one, the one that have to kill people, all right? I know some Muslims that are very peaceful, all right? But there are some of the bad hombres out there who are totally brainwashed, all right? Get mad at China, don't get mad at America, but that's what they're not reporting on the news. All right, people need to be more aware, and I want to report you guys. Just because, look, because I'm reporting all this stuff, people are not knowing about what's going on in the world. All right, YouTube don't want to sponsor my channel, don't want to monetize my channel. Because of that, I'm unscripted, unrehearsed, unedited. All right, if you like what I do and want to support what I do, please like, share, and subscribe. Most importantly, subscribe. Because when you subscribe, right, it shows me that people are watching, and it encouraged me to make more videos exposing more of these kind of news that people need to be aware of. All right, I'll leave a link in the description below if you want to read it for yourself. But let me know you agree. You think China are being unreasonable? You think China is more evil than America? You think the Muslim people should be more outraged at China than the Western community? Right? You think the Islamic culture need to be more enraged with Chinese than Americans? You think the Chinese are good people? You think they're godless people? I mean, the government-wise. I'm talking about the government. You think they're godless? All right? Let me know you agree. Leave a comment below. Once again, I thank you for listening to my podcast. This is the HighlyEvolvedPodcast. All right? My name's Stefan. Please like, share, and subscribe. Follow me on social media at Twitter and got.ai. And on that note, guys, I appreciate for you listening to me. And people need to be more aware about what's going on in the world, right? Because look, this is unfair what China's doing. And let me know you agree. I'm sorry I sound like a broken record. I'm hyped up right now. But on that note, guys, thanks for listening. My name's Stefan, and I'm signing out. Peace.